everyone, welcome to episode 4 of the Team Shock Builders Log. This week we are going to be starting the brand new version of Aftershock. So you might remember Aftershock traditionally has been our big spinner robot. We originally fought with it in Robot Wars for Series 9 and 10, and then it's been on the Extreme Robots tour ever since. This is what it looks like right now, and it is a little bit beaten up. So last year it had a pretty rough year. We had 8 fights against Zadkiel, and it's taken its toll. It's not completely wrecked. I mean, the disc does still actually move pretty nicely. The chassis needs a bit of work, but the main reason for the change is that the maintenance was really taking its toll. So we're going to leave this one to one side. We might bring it out for a couple of shows later on in the year. We're not quite sure yet. And in the meantime, to replace it on our team, we are going to be bringing back the Series 9 Aftershock. So this is the original one after its grand final appearance in Series 9, where you might remember this side of the robot got completely removed by carbide. That ended up embedded in the bulletproof glass. We managed to repair all of this, and it's been sitting in the shed, not doing a lot for a couple of years. So we thought it's time for a new lease of life. So let's have a look at what we're going to be doing. So we've decided for this year we're going to try something a little bit different with this frame compared to previous years. And I did give you a sneak peek a couple of weeks ago on the Builders Log. So I showed you we've got these Hardox axe heads. We're going to try these. We've now got a few more bits as well. So we have this nice great big bit of aluminium. Believe it or not, this was actually part of Steel Avenger 2 that we had a couple of years ago. This was the leftover arm from that. So the idea is we're going to mount this in the middle of the robot. Probably will cut it down a little bit. We will then find a way to attach the Hardox head to it. And you can kind of get the idea of how this is going to look. Weapon-wise as well, you can see we've got one of the spare LEM weapon motors from Aftershock. It's not all together at the moment. It hasn't got the brash housing in the back. But this fits in the chassis. We've then also got a bit of shockwave in this one as well. So this part here is the weapon clutch out of shockwave. We had a go at taking that apart a bit earlier today. And, well, you can have a little look and see how that went. So the clutch here is designed to allow a little bit of slip in the system so that we don't transfer all the forces from the weapon back to the weapon motor. And you can probably guess by the placement here that this is going to be a 2-stage reduction. So we're going to have the motor with a single stage chain to our clutch. We'll then have another sprocket welded on this side that's going to go up to our main weapon axle at the top, which we're going to have a final chain reduction to for the main arm itself. In terms of drive, we're going to try and go back to the old 4-wheel drive system that we had. So digging through some boxes, we found our old drive units. So these were the ones that were in for Series 9 and 10. And the idea is we have the rear wheel is a larger wheel, smaller wheel at the front. We dug those out earlier. So this is what one of the rear wheels would look like. That will fit somewhere like that. The smaller wheel flips over and goes the other way around. And then these units bolt in to the bottom of the robot. And you can probably see here as well, we've got our drive motors. These have actually just come out of the spinner version of Aftershock. So our last fight we had at the end of last year against Zadkiel basically moved all the magnets inside the motors. So these are Movi motors, which are basically the modern equivalent of the Bosch 750s that were being used pretty much throughout the earlier series of Robot Wars. And essentially inside here, we've got 4 magnets, and these became unglued. And we've been a little bit lazy, really. We hadn't glued them in at all. So we're going to re-glue those, get them all fitted in nicely. We've got to do a little bit of work on one of the brush housings, get that fixed up. And then we'll be able to get these back in. And hopefully that side of things won't take us too long. From there, we're then going to rebuild some of the armour. So the front of the robot's going to have to be redone to modify it, to fit around the weapon system. We're going to try and get the weapon system made over the next few weeks, and eventually get to the point where we can test it. So that's pretty much where we're at for today with this one. Hopefully in the coming weeks we'll have a little bit more to show, so tune in then.